Hi, good day. My name is Joe Avila. For today, I want to document a part of my toy collection. It's a Spider-Man action figure. Now, when I photograph my action figures, basically I want it to have form. That means that my light must never come from behind my camera. It must come either at a 45-degree angle to my lens axis. It could be beside my subject, it could be behind my subject, but never will I light something from behind the camera. It makes it look flat. The first thing I usually do when I have my light set up is to measure its output with the Sekonic light meter. So I have my lens opening, and now I will take a test shot using the SpyderCHECKR and the Spyder Cube. Okay, I have my test shot, then I'll move my Spider-Man action figure into place. Now we shoot. I'm finally here in front of my computer, and what I'm about to do, I'm going to open my test shot of the SpyderCHECKR. So, I want to level my shot a little of this thing. Wasn't level. Okay. There we go. Let's zoom out. I'm just going to crop this down to those 4 dots. There we go. There it is. It's normally recommended that you use the white balance tool and use the patch of E2 for reference. Use the gray patch of E2 for white balance. Then I'm going to get my color sampler tools, and I'm going to click on squares E1 for my highlight and E6 for my shadows. I have to adjust my values for E1 until more or less they're about a 230. Okay, and yep, that's as close as you can get it. Then I'm gonna adjust the values of blacks. More or less they should be 10, or as close as you can get it, all to 10, 10, 10 RGB values. Yep, that's as close as you can get it. Okay, I'm going to open this image. And once it's open in Photoshop, I'm going to save it as a TIFF file. So File, Save As. Let's give it a name. What do we call this? Let's call it our Spider-Man TIFF file. Here we go. And I'm going to save it. Then I'm going to quit Photoshop. I'm going to quit Bridge. And I will now launch my SpyderCHECKR software. There we go. I will now open my Spider-Man file. And I want to adjust the square so that more or less these gray overlays, it's centered on the test patches. More or less. Yep. Then I'm going to choose a mode. Do I want my colors to be saturated? Do I want them as faithful as possible, or maybe something for a portrait? I'm going to go for as faithful as possible. And I'm going to save these calibration settings to ACR. And what I'm doing now is I'm creating a preset for color, for the way my camera sees color for this lighting setup. Let's give it a name. Then I'm going to quit the SpyderCHECKR software. Then I go back to my Photoshop. Okay. I'm going to open up all of my Spider-Man test files in ACR. And I will now apply the preset created with the SpyderCHECKR software. Now, my normal problem when I shoot something red with my 7D is that reds tend to blow. They block up. They're too saturated. So hopefully, this will tame the colors. It's more faithful. I get a better balance of colors. There we go. So I'm not going to adjust this. All of my values now. Just fine-tune this. Yep. And once it's done, I will now apply all of those corrected settings to all of my raw files. And the only thing left right now is just to convert all of these raw files to PSD, TIFF, or JPEG, depending on what I'm going to use them for. And that's how we use the SpyderCHECKR. All cameras will see color differently. One of the challenges I face with the 7D is that when I shoot anything that is bright red, it tends to be too saturated. It's hard to separate a detail of one red object from another. That's where the SpyderCHECKR comes in. It will help me create an input profile. It will create a better description of how my camera sees color. And it's a great tool to use in the studio when you're after color accuracy in all of your work.